.com with your hosts, Aaron Boyce, Robin Rose-Haymer, and the crew. Serious, hilarious, sometimes delirious, but always provocative talk radio. And now here's Aaron Boyce with All Things Employment.
I'm just feeling it, people. I'm feeling the groove. I'm feeling so good today.
I'm feeling some kind of way.
I'm feeling it. Robin, you're feeling it too. I am Aaron Boyce. This is All Things Employment on OneTalkNetwork.com. Yes, I am your host. I'm sitting here with
Robin Rose-Haymer
and
Chanelle Sadler
with
David Joyce.
All right, and this is our crew today, and it's going to be fabulous. Now, what I love about this show is it is going to be talking about something that's near and dear to me, which is entrepreneurship. The ability to get out there and make your money. That's a wonderful thing, you know? So, let's talk about our guests and what they're going to be talking about. So in the next half hour, who's coming in and what are they going to be talking about?
Well, in the next half hour, unfortunately, Aaron, you're stuck with us. There's no one else coming.
Not this half hour, the next half hour.
Oh, the half hour after this half hour. Oh,
you know, that's kind of like where you turn, this street or the next street.
Right.
Right.
We're going to have to practice that, I think.
I think so.
So in the next half hour, specifically the half hour after this half hour, which is this half hour,
yes,
we are going to be speaking with Jason Moulton.
And who is Jason Moulton?
Jason Moulton is an entrepreneur.
You see?
I see.
Tell me more.
Tell you more
about Jason Moulton.
Oh, he's an entrepreneur who owns several businesses, and I don't want to give away too much because he tells it much better than I do. But let's just say he's paid.
Okay, and then the half hour after that?
After the half hour, which is the next half hour, after that half hour, we've got Danielle Marshall.
Who is?
The president of the Natomas Chamber of Commerce and also an entrepreneur.
All right. And I know that the half hour after that, I'll be doing my tutorial. And it's something called the GAP program.
The GAP, not the GAP band.
Not the GAP band.
Because they're not a guest that half
Although
hour.
It will be outstanding.
I am so sad that I made you do that.
Okay, fine. So, absolutely. But this half hour, we're going to be talking a little bit about you, and we're going to be talking a little bit about David. But before we do that, I want to talk about Chanelle Sadler, because she is the newest member of our group, and I think that our audience needs to know a little bit about who Chanelle Sadler is. So, go.
We said hi. Pass you the mic.
All right, so I am a graduate from Young Entrepreneurs Academy from the Black Chamber of Commerce. I just graduated Asher College with my office administration certificate, and I am currently enrolled in Folsom Lake College with pursuing my business degree.
That's good. And you notice she didn't say Folsom Prison, she said Folsom Lake College.
Well, that's the thing about that, Aaron. You don't really get to enroll in Folsom Prison.
You don't. That's not an enrollable activity.
Not an enrollable activity.
Well, it's enrollable if you choose to do the crime.
Yeah, but you don't even get to pick where you go when it comes to state prison.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
You don't get to pick your spot?
No. Oh, 1, 2, 3, not it.
I bet you some people get to pick the spot. Okay, but anyway.
But enough about that.
So tell us more about Chanelle. Now, you said that you are office admin. Mm-hmm. All right. So, in terms of your career aspirations, where are you hoping that takes you? Oh, wait a minute. I see that we have something for you.
Happy birthday to you.
Look at that.
Oh my gosh.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Chanelle. Happy birthday to you.
Did you like our decoration area? Talk about this elsewhere.
Yeah, I know, because I was like, where's he going was just like greatly. Thank you, you guys.
Yeah, we were trying to fill in the gap because David really is the longest candle lighter on the face of the planet.
One was lit, and then the other one was lit, and one went out.
That's okay. That's okay. But no,
So, blow it out, make a wish.
Make a wish. Make a wish.
Woo-hoo! Good job. All right. Admin, you know.
And you know something? I appreciate that when she blew out the candle, it wasn't like the wet blows, you know?
Yeah, I was determined about how I wanted to get my cupcake first, but I'm glad to see that you have some table now.
Well, just for the record, I'm a germaphobe myself, so when I see people in their wet blows, I'm like, oh, no cake for me.
No cake for me.
At all. I mean, I know you can just wipe the frosting off, but still.
Oh,
That's the best part, really. You don't want to have to wipe off the frosting.
Well, yeah. But you know, I just envision the spit just sinking all the way down to the bottom.
Thanks for that description. Okay, moving on. What's on the show today, Aaron?
Well, the show today is...
We're over Chanelle and the birthday thing.
Yes, we are.
Thank you.
Moving on. Oh, wait. You didn't sing the part about how old are we not going to do that?
She's not 6, so we don't have to do it.
Let's omit that.
Okay. She's 30. But anyway, I whispered so nobody heard. Okay, see that? Okay, now that was wrong. That was so wrong.
You just said he's 30.
This is your first day. You're going to be nice. Thank you.
There's nothing wrong with it. But I want to enjoy every year to come slowly.
Nicely said.
Okay. Well, while we're enjoying every year to come, Robin's having quite a fantastic year.
I am.
Yes, she is. Friday. Well, let me tell you something. There's a program called the Nehemiah Emerging Leadership Program. And if you were lucky enough to listen to our show last week, we had Dr. David Ennis as a guest host, part of the crew, and he was class 3 of Nehemiah Emerging Leadership Program. This is indeed a training program for today's leaders. And it's a wonderful program. We're up to class 6. And so Robin was one of the candidates for class 6.
I was.
Can you tell us all about how that day went for you? Now, first of all, what time did you have to be there?
I had to be there by 8. Well, originally I was told to be there by 7:30, and then the couple days before I was told to be there by 8. So I was planning to be there by 7:30 all over.
Okay.
7:30 a.m.?
A.m.
Okay, wait a minute. I had to be there at 7.
Well, interestingly enough, we got there at the same time.
Yeah, we did, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
One of us was early and one of us was late. Let's pick who's it.
And so, what time did you leave?
I actually was in my car driving out of the parking structure at 6:20
So this was an all-day event.
p.m.
PM.
Yes.
Oh, my goodness.
All-day event. So can you just share with us what was the purpose of Selection Day and how that went for you?
So, to my knowledge, Selection Day was an opportunity for the judges to personally meet the candidates whose applications they carefully culled through and selected, I believe, 36 individuals to be considered for Class 6. So it was their opportunity to meet us in person and to learn things about us.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Like what kind of things?
Like somebody can't draw.
I begged to differ. I stayed in my lane. I drew things that would be beneficial to my team. Thank you very much.
She put cherries on the cherry trees.
I drew the trees, sir. The trees were my original design.
Wait, I'm confused. So you said that she put cherries on the cherry trees. If that's what she was drawing, what is the problem with the cherry trees?
Exactly. He knew it was a cherry tree. He could tell from my drawing. Exactly. Precisely, Chanelle, for bringing that up. I appreciate that.
Okay, I just had to,
High five.
Yes, air five.
There we go.
Yeah,
I don't think Mensa makes you draw either.
Exactly. Which just about makes me a genius, now doesn't it?
I know.
Just about a genius.
You know what? I'm glad we're friends, Robin.
We will be forever now.
Or at least until the end of the show.
At least
so,
that one.
Okay. Now, David, there's a reason why I asked you to come on this show. Mm-hmm. You can see what's going on here. Mm-hmm. You, sir, are my mano de mano here. Okay? Mm-hmm.
So he's telling you to choose wisely when you choose sides. Pick me.
No.
All right. I'm on Robin's
I'm
side.
so not telling you that.
I believe in coalition building, So the more friends than enemies. It tends to work out for me in life, I guess. So I'll try to be Switzerland and stay neutral.
Girl power.
Okay.
So,
That was well said.
but I have no idea what he said though.
That's very true.
That
It was very political. I have to
that
say.
was very good.
Neutral.
Well done, you.
So.
I need to get some tips from you.
Answering without actually answering.
Since we're answering without answering, David, on every other episode or so, we have somebody who we bring into the studio, and we have something called 7 questions. Now, you might ask me, what is 7 questions?
I think he did ask you what is 7.
What is 7 questions?
No, well, I want him to ask it now.
Oh, sorry, I didn't get
It
that.
didn't count
Very
right
eyeball.
over there. Okay, 7 questions. The 7 question is.
That's a great question. What is 7
I'm
questions?
trying to tell him.
Well, I was trying to help it along. It was moving kind of slow.
7 questions is where we get to ask you questions about your. Well, let's consider it a mini job interview where they may ask you 100 questions. We're only going to ask you 7. So Chanelle, myself, and Robin, we're going to ask you 7 questions, and you get to answer them however that you want. But just remember, it's only you're talking to us. That's all. Not the millions of people around the world that's also listening to this. No, only us.
Not until it goes on YouTube.
Well, this is true. Okay. Okay.
Millions
So.
and
Just
millions.
pretend they're not there
Right.
while you're
Yeah.
answering the questions.
Dance like no one's watching. Have you heard that before?
Well, just keep your clothes on, okay?
Oh, hey, whoa.
Okay. Okay.
I don't know what kind of job interviews you've been going to, but we need to make sure that we get you straight.
Wait. I think was that so sad. It's so sad. It's funny.
Absolutely. We are definitely off script now. We need to
Okay.
drag this train back on the
All right.
track.
So David,
We're back.
Whoa. Wow. Okay, this is taking. Okay. All jokes aside, this is indeed a mini interview, and I want you to answer these 7 questions with all due seriousness. Okay?
Yes.
So.
Wait, hold on just 1 second.
Okay.
Are we actually moving to 7 questions?
Oh
right
my
now?
goodness! I forgot to do the. Okay.
Okay,
Wow.
so apparently, Aaron, having his show direction in front of him
It's right
is
there.
making absolutely no impact on the direction of the show.
It's right there in front of me.
I mean, we spend hours deciding what we're going to talk about and when, and clearly we have thrown all of that planning to the absolute wind because we have just skipped, I don't know, a third of the show.
The only reason is because the birthday cake came in
You got excited like that was a squirrel or something?
prematurely. I didn't give him the high sign, and yet he brought it in, and so I got. And then you started singing.
Well, I mean, there were burning candles.
Prematurely.
At some point, somebody had to jump in and do something. Burning candles? I mean,
Okay.
it's not even fire hazard or something.
Okay.
I'm glad you took the initiative.
Thank you.
You know something? We're going to disregard the first 13 minutes of the show, except for the birthday.
Except for the happy birthday part. We're not going to disregard that.
And we're going to go to our quote of the day.
The quote of the day. Look at that. It's on the schedule and everything. The quote of the day. Is it my turn?
It is, Robin.
Why?
And we are
Thank
so
you, Aaron.
ready for this quote, which I'm sure will lead into what we're going to be talking about with David.
It absolutely does. I'm a good picker. Everybody ready? Ask, and it shall be given unto you. Seek, and ye shall find. Knock, and it shall be opened unto you. And that quote comes from Matthew 7:7, King James Version. How you like them apples?
I like the apples a lot.
I'm a nib guy myself.
Well, there you go.
Still
But
pretty good.
it's pretty good. It's a good translation
Okay.
pretty much across all versions, let me just say.
So, why did you bring that in today?
Well, when I was considering our show's focus of entrepreneurism, I thought to myself, what are some important characteristics of entrepreneurs? And the first thing I thought is, an entrepreneur has to have an idea. So, typically they ask themselves, what is my calling? What's my niche? What's my deal? What's my seeds? What's my thing? So, ask and it shall be given to you. And then, once you decide what your thing is, you got to do some research. You can't just go out all willy-nilly and start with your thing. You have to have a plan. So, seek, and then you'll find. And then, the very next important aspect of being an entrepreneur is the footwork. Getting out there, shaking hands, kissing babies, doing the research, getting your plans together, gathering your materials, so then knock and it shall be opened unto you. And ironically, when you asked me about the quote, that was my Bible verse of the day. So I said, hey, it's one of those opportunities where that rock is speaking. And it's crying out, and I heard it. And I paid attention.
What I love about that quote is this show is called All Things Employment. And clearly that's something, and David and Chanelle know this because they were students at Asher College where I used to teach. And clearly not in a biblical sense, but have we not spoken about ask and it shall be given? You gotta open your mouth for,
closed mouth don't get fed,
right? Seek and then you find. I love, how people expect that jobs come to them.
Always showing up on the doorstep. Isn't that how all of your jobs came to you, Aaron? You were just sitting at home, flipping the channels,
and,
playing video games, Call of Duty.
Somebody knocked and said,
and somebody knocked to find you.
I have a job, but
right.
Wow, I must have missed that day.
Right. That day doesn't exist for you.
And then you knock and it shall be given, which means you have to be noticed.
Right.
You have to be noticed. I love that quote. Wow. And she gave me the wink and the sound, and that was success. That was success. David, ask and it shall be given. Seek and then you'll find. Knock and it shall
be open.
Knock and it shall be open
to you.
Open to you. See, I will. Can you change that to open, please? Because I just
personally attest
I
to
wrote the wrong thing.
There you go.
Put it into action.
Okay, which now leads into the 7 questions.
I'm so proud that you're able to read the list now.
I am absolutely.
That makes me so happy.
It was a great lead-in.
Hey, I do what I can.
I'm so glad that
I'm a team player.
I'm so glad that whatever you think happened didn't happen, because we ignored the first 13 minutes.
What are you even talking about?
Exactly. David,
on that note,
are you ready?
Yes, sir.
All
Do I
right.
get any lifelines though?
Do you need one?
No.
Okay then.
I
Okay.
don't think Regis is answering my phone call.
Okay. Question 1. This is a question that everybody hates. I don't know why, but it's a question that everybody is afraid of. I'm going to ask it to you. Mr. David Joyce, can you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Easily. Let's see here. Born and raised in Boston, Massachusetts. Went to college out there. 9/11 happened. I enlisted in the Air Force after I graduated from college. Got stationed out at Beale Air Force Base and Travis Air Force Base. Was medically separated from the military in 2009. Went to go work for the state of California for a little bit under 6 years. And once I got vested, I basically decided, like, hey, I don't want to do this the rest of my life. I want to change career paths. My background's in communications, in PR, for my college degree. I left my state job, where a lot of people had said, are you crazy? What are you doing or whatever? I went and did a fellowship with Congressman McClintock, doing Veterans Affairs, and myself, I'm a disabled veteran. So when I went and did that, not only did I build that resume, which I'm really big on, I'm big on adding skill sets to your resume, but also too is like I benefited financially, but also I've been able to take the things I've learned and helped other veterans, get their benefits and get their money and whatnot. So for me right now, I'm doing that full-blown transition, and like you said with the quote, asking you shall receive, and seeking, you shall find. I'm kind of living proof of that right now, is because I'm doing a lot of the things that people told me were impossible to do when I stepped outside of that box.
Great. So David, I'm going to have Robert answer this question, but I want to make sure that we understand what career path are you looking for?
I would love to do anything. A lot of the interviews I'm doing right now are either public relations or governmental jobs, whether it be like an association or like a communication, like legislative assistant. a lot of that type of stuff interests me, but a lot of the communications and PR stuff is what I want to get into. It comes naturally to me. Plus, it's one of those things where I've built my skill set and I'm building that resume to kind of fit those jobs.
Okay. Question number 2.
David, thank you so much for being here today. We appreciate you for
Welcome.
stepping into our 7 questions. Can you tell me why we should hire you?
Why? I think my background, I told this in an interview last week, my background is filled with initiative and OJT. And I think that's something that's rare nowadays, is that I've done a lot of things that I didn't have to do, but I wanted to do to make myself better. I made an analogy a while back to Aaron, where I talked about LeBron James and how LeBron James has become a better basketball player over time. I think as employees or in the job market, you need to do that yourself. You need to add a skill set and learn how to do things you haven't done before. My bottom line, though, is I feel like anybody that interviews me, there's 3 things that I can bring to them. I can help them earn money, help them become more efficient, and more importantly, I can help them save money. And there's examples I can show for each.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Question number 3.
All right, David, so why do you feel that you're a good asset to wherever your next job application will be submitted? Why do you feel that you're a good asset to the company?
One thing I've thought a lot about lately is that I've been in basically 3 different branches of government. I think that's really given me a unique perspective. I was in the military, I worked for the state side of the government, I've also worked in the federal side. And it's like between the 3, I've taken the good and the bad from each one and have been able to separate them, and there's a vast difference in all 3 of them. But I think that doing all 3 of them has made me a better employee because I look at things from a different perspective. One thing that I really cherish from the military now that some time has passed is that the military, whether you like it or not, it teaches you to produce no matter who you're working with. I mean, you can literally hate the person across from you, yet your job is still to be productive. It's one of the things I miss about the military is that, when I went to work for the state, it was the polar opposite, where there wasn't that emphasis on production. And, on the federal side, it's a little bit different than the state side, but I've also seen the bigger picture on the federal side where it's such an asset to know how things are affected nationally. So I kind of bring that perspective, but also, too, I'm a person that I'm a full-blown believer in constantly adding to my skill set. When I finish at Asher, that's not going to be the only classes I add, or I'm going to find things like I'm looking into maybe doing an online marketing certificate. Mm-hmm. So I want to take things that are going to make me a better, stronger asset and keep adding to that as far as skill set.
Okay, that's good.
Question number 4. David, can you share with us a time when you attempted to do something and it didn't turn out the way that you wanted to, and what did you do to turn it around?
Turn it around? I think a good example to that would be about 5-6 years ago, I tried to buy a house. And at that time, the VA loans weren't really as popular as they are now. So it was really hard to find a realtor to buy a house with a VA loan at that time. And he basically tried to oversell me a place that had some, problems with it and stuff and everything. So at the last second, I kind of stepped away from the deal and said, I'm not comfortable with this. So I said, where I'm at in my life, I really don't need a house. I can do something smaller and then move on down the road. So I went and bought a condo instead. So the thing, looking back in hindsight, it was one of the better things I ever did, because had I bought the house, I don't think it would have appreciated. It would have been too much. And I'm putting my condo up for sale right now, and I'm looking at about $50,000-$60,000 profit that I'm going to make off of it. So it's one of these things where I've learned that sometimes in life, just because somebody wants you to do something, it's not necessarily the best thing for you, and that to kind of step back from the situation and before you make a decision like that, look at, is it going to benefit that person, or is it going to benefit me? So I stepped out of that.
Question number 5.
Please, sir, give us your greatest strength and your greatest weakness.
My greatest strength? I think my greatest strength is that I'm able to articulate myself. I have a lot of friends, a lot of associates across a very broad spectrum of people. I think a lot of times people have a hard time articulating themselves and getting them across. I heard a Teddy Roosevelt quote the other day that was brilliant, is that Teddy Roosevelt says that people don't want to know how much you know until they know how much you care. And I think that's something that, I'm able to get across to people. I think my greatest weakness, though, is that I have very strong conviction, and that sometimes rubs people the wrong way. So it's one of these things where I accept that part of me, but also, too, I know there's a price tag to that, without question. So,
Excellent.
Question number
Six.
All right, number 6. So describe, or please tell us a time when you had a boss that you weren't very fond of, and what made them not so great. And then if you could also describe a boss that you were very fond of, and what made them great.
Very good question. I can do this one. I'm not going to say where and when this was, but I had a boss that one thing that really bothered to me is that I get really turned off when people pick on people that can't necessarily stand up for themselves. And I had a former supervisor that, he would never attack me or any other, like the men in our office or whatever, but he seemed that, when it came to the women, that he would have like these public arguments with them and everything. So the thing I did was I had emailed him one day and I said, listen, we don't need harassment and we don't need you raising your voice unprofessionally. I was like, we need leadership. And a lot of people I worked with who were very supportive for me taking that stand against him. And it was one of these things where, I think it really kind of opened people's eyes as to, hey, we're not going to tolerate that behavior. One boss that I will stand up for, and I made this analogy a while back ago, when I was in the Air Force, there was a tech sergeant that I worked under that I call it Patton syndrome, like General Patton. There's a guy in my church that started under Patton, and he raves about him to this day. He's about 94, and he said it was the best experience of his life, and he was better in real life than he was in the movie. And the thing that happened for me is this tech sergeant in the Air Force, he always would take our back whenever we got in trouble. He said, I'm going to support you as long as you work hard. I'll take a hit for you and stand up for you. And he always did it. But the thing that really earned my respect and a lot of my peers is that he wasn't afraid to get his hands dirty. There was nothing that he was above doing. So when we were out there on the bomb pad turning bombs, and he would show up and start doing it alongside of you, the morale and camaraderie just went through the roof. And that's something I'll always respect about him.
Cool. Last question. This is your final. So, in a room full of 1,000 people, and they all want your job, just give us in a minute or less why you. Why are you the person who can get things done?
I think that if you look at my resume of what I've done, but also too, it's I'm the type of person where I like to go by the golden rule. If you treat me the way you want to be treated, you'll see the results. I think my greatest weakness right now is I just haven't been given the right opportunities. It's I'm a big believer in that talk is cheap, and that actions speak louder than words. So it's one of these things where if someone hires me, they're going to find out that I'm very focused on results. And my life motto that I basically bring to a workplace is the same thing I live by. I live by results, not rhetoric. As a veteran, I can get rhetoric anywhere. I can go to AM, PM and get a handshake, thank you for your service. I'd rather go out there and get people results that, they're going to show up either at their workplace or in their paycheck. So I think that's the thing that separates me is that I don't do rhetoric, I don't do fluff. My thing is based on production and results.
So, that was Mr. David Joyce. He's looking for communications or PR position in government, but also in the business sector. If you like what you heard, you can contact him at his email at djoyce51479@hotmail.com. Say it one more time. djoyce51479@hotmail.com.
Thank you, David. And all this time, I thought you were from Boston. It sounds like you're really from the show me states.
And of course, if you want to have your 7 questions, if you're looking for employment and you want to sit in that chair and be part of 7 questions, then all you have to do is to contact us at what email?
allthingsemployment@gmail.com.
Fantastic. And that was our first half hour.
First half hour flew by lightning speed. So just a quick forecast about what's coming up on All Things Employment on One Talk Network. In this next half hour, we've got Jason Moulton, local entrepreneur. We've also got Who's Hiring, really great jobs that Chanelle and David will be presenting to you. We've got Think About It, and we're coming right back.
So, join us in 5,